Hey, shalom, shalom, mishpocha. Welcome to another edition of the Ray Bash's Ramblings. I'm your host, Rabbi Yehuda Ben Shomer, and today I'm going to be talking about the Mezuzah. Many of my viewers out there may not know what a Mezuzah is, but traditionally, what a Mezuzah is, it is a little cylindrical or rectangular container that has certain passages of scriptures in it that we Jewish people attach to the doorframe of every door in our house, minus the bathroom, because the bathroom is an unclean place. So I have there's a commandment in the scriptures that we get this from, and it's taken from the passage known as the Shema, Deuteronomy chapter 4 or chapter 6, verses 4 through 9, and it says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words, which I command you this day, shall be upon your heart, and you shall teach them diligently to your children. You shall talk about them when you sit in your house, when you walk on the way, when you lie down, when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes." This is the passage where we get the commandment to make and don tefillin. And I already have a video about that. Verse 9 says, "And you shall write them upon the doorpost of your house and upon your gates." This is the section of the scriptures where we get the commandment to affix a mezuzah to our door frames, to our doorpost. Let me read to you what I've kind of written on that. Traditionally, the mezuzah is a rectangular or cylindrical container which contain the passages of Deuteronomy 6, 4 through 9, which is what I just read to you, and Deuteronomy 11, 13 through 20, on a parchment that is affixed to every doorway of the house, excluding bathrooms, at eye level, in order to fulfill the commandment of write them on the doorpost of your house upon your gates. Now, there's a traditional way. Different sects of Judaism have a different way that they affix the mezuzah. Some of them have it just kind of straight up. Some of it have it leaning in towards the room at a certain angle. So there's different ways to do that. And I continue on by saying, "But I see no problem with taking this verse literally and carving or burning or painting or marking them on the frame of the doorpost, or even hanging a plaque with these passages on it. It has been said that there's more than one way to skin a cat, and therefore there is more than one way to fulfill a mitzvah, to fulfill a commandment." It's just become very traditional in Judaism to have a mezuzah, this container, and they come in all sorts of different shapes, sizes, and made of different materials. Some's plastic, some's wood, some's metal, some's glass, different materials. And it has become an income for those who come from the Levitical tribe. Since there is no temple, one way that they can earn their money is by writing Torah scrolls and by writing parchments with these passages on it to put in the mezuzah, or writing the parchments with the necessary passage to put in the tefillin. So that is one way that the Levites today can make an income. So it's become very traditional to do that, but I'm not necessarily a stickler for tradition all the time. Like, the way I read this passage Hebraically and the way, I see this, like I said, I have no problem. There's more than one way to fulfill this commandment. If you want to decoratively paint the passages on your doorway, if you want to, carve them in or burn them in with one of those wood pens, or get a Sharpie and write them on, or whatever, or if you just want to go with a traditional mezuzah, that's fine. But, there's more than one way to fulfill a commandment. And so traditionally, what happens, the purpose for the mezuzah is to remind the resident of the household of their responsibility as a Jewish person, as a Hebraic person. And what is the responsibility? Well, we read it. It says that that these words which I command you this day shall be in your hearts. So in other words, that the Torah should be in our hearts. That we should always keep the Torah in our hearts and in our minds. "You shall teach them diligently to your children." It's to remind us to teach our families to walk in the footsteps of Yeshua our Messiah by walking and following the Torah. You shall talk to them when you sit in your house, when you walk on the way, when you lie down, when you rise up. Find every teachable opportunity and moment. We teach our children about the Torah when we say blessings over the meals, when we say the Shema and they see us pray and see us study the scriptures in the morning, when we have family devotions, when we're going on a trip and we see something interesting outside and somehow we can tie that into scripture. And you shall bind them as a sign. And by the way, the word sign is ot, which means a physical, literal, tangible sign. So that's how I know that the tefillin is not just a Jewish tradition, but it is a command. You should literally put them on your hand and put them between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorpost of your house and upon your gates. Pardon me. So these commandments are to be taken literally and to be carried out literally. Let me continue with what I have written. Traditionally, to make this commandment truly effective to the believer, we are to have made it a habit, which I encourage one to continue, and that is when you pass the mezuzah, touch it with your fingers, and then put your fingers to your lips. This creates a reverence and respect for the word, and leads to one taking the Torah more seriously and observing it with joy and sobriety. I've been in churches and I've seen churches where they have a plaque that says, "You are now entering the mission field." And a mezuzah is sort of like that. When you see that mezuzah, you realize, you know what, I'm going out into a Torah-less world, and I'm carrying the torch and the flame of Torah out into the world, and it's my responsibility to bring Torah to the world, bring light, the light of the word to the nations. And the Torah is we have the written Torah, and not only are we to bring the light of Torah, but who is the living manifestation of that light? According to John 1, it's Yeshua HaMashiach. We're to bring Messiah, the light of the world, into the world. So this is a beautiful commandment, and it has beautiful traditions along with it. So I highly encourage you to fulfill this commandment. A lot of people say, how do I start obeying Torah? 613 commandments. Wow, that's overwhelming. And, I try to make them realize that not all 613 apply to one single individual. And they're like, well, where do I start? I said, well, here's a very simple commandment to follow. And it's like a one-time commandment, unless you move to different places. But put a mezuzah on your Torah. Pardon me. It's very easy to do. It's very simple, and you can do it. And there's blessings that can be found in a traditional prayer siddur about affixing mezuzah to the doorposts and door frames of your house. And there's instructions online on how to do it, and you can decide on how you want to angle it or how you want to put it or whatever, depending on what halakha, what Jewish tradition you decide to follow, whether it's Sephardic or Ashkenazic or whatever. But hopefully you found this video very informative and enlightening. Hope you enjoyed it. Tune in again next time, and we'll see you later. Shalom and Shavua Tov. Bye-bye.